So I plan to answer in this video a very simple question. How would aliens look like if they would be real? But before answering this, we have to determine what an alien is, because depending on how you define them, the answer may be different. Now, if we limit ourselves to material, and by material I mean biological beings, then aliens are impossible, but we'll see how they could, if by the chance of hazard they could exist, what they could look like. But if we don't limit ourselves to this, then we can include spiritual beings, angels and demons, and then of course they are real and they manifest themselves as biological, pretending to be biological aliens, or other UFO sightings or so on. Okay, so carrying on. Basically, in the biological world, we have a give and take for everything. Basically, for every body part that needs controlling, you need a certain minimum brain mass to control that body part. Just like when we enabled the robot to walk on 4 legs, until our computers reach a certain level, we couldn't do this. It would fall and so on. Basically, the simple fact of walking is so complex, you need a lot of computational power. Similar, the act of grabbing something with a hand in a delicate manner requires a lot of computation. Analyzing visual data and so on. So this means that you cannot really have very weird aliens. Also, to reach a certain level of intelligence, the first you need a certain amount of things. First, you need to be a top predator. This means that you don't have to spend most of your time just trying to survive. You have to have some extra time to develop your intelligence. You cannot make a spear while running from a tiger or something. Okay? The second part is you have to have a large enough brain matter to basically take care of all your body functions, and then have some extra to do that intelligent processing thing. And the third thing, you need to have a certain amount of dexterity. For instance, dolphins, whales, elephants, they all have very large brains. They're all basically top predators, but they don't have enough dexterity to basically develop a lot of intelligence. So considering this, you have 2 paths left for you. One, and I'll talk more on this than the other, which I'll probably just mention, is a humanoid form. Not necessarily bipedal, but you have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears. Basically, you have the basic structure of a human, or an ape would fit just as well. You cannot have less than 4 fingers, for instance, because you don't have dexterity. You cannot have more than 6 fingers because the computational needs would be too great and it will not be justifiable for the small gain you'd have. You also cannot have more arms. Again, because of the computational problems. Of course, the computational problems could be solved if you can have a planet that have gigantic animals, but even then there are problems. Basically, you have a limit on how much elements can be controlled by brain, which, by the way, is the part of the body consumed has the most energy in all the body. So just adding one extra limb or one extra eye would mean a big increase in the brain needed, which would mean a big increase in the energy needed, and so on. So basically you have a number of problems. You also cannot have aliens like the Greys, because again, that brain needs something to feed on, and if you have a body that's like a stick, not gonna work. So now that we basically managed to limit on how this type of alien can be, now let's talk about 1-2 minutes about the other type of alien. The other type of alien is that can be intelligent, is the type that is called in science fiction hive mind. And the only examples we have are insects like ants and bees, where basically you have one individual that commands the whole group somehow, and that individual doesn't do much. In the case of the insects, it also gives birth to eggs, but that's not necessarily the main purpose. The main purpose is just to give orders, and it can be mobile, like in Zerg, in the StarCraft game Zergs, Zerg Cerebral. Basically, you can have this, and all the other elements of the hive would have some independence, but would just get commands. Would be simple animals that get commands from the main brain, and this would be the only other way for which you can have intelligent life, and I think is the most dangerous and most scary of the two, because insects generally work like as a plague. If you ever heard of a plague with locusts, that's how they would behave. Basically, if those things would exist, would just move to a new planet, reproduce at top speed, destroy planet, move to the next, and so on. So it's good that there are no aliens, because that would be devastating to us, at least for the insect type. And I would say the humanity type would be debatable, because humans are more complex, but still not a good idea to have aliens. Okay, so that's the short video I wanted to say in this short video, and that's it. Bye.